TV Crazy Man here. Today I'll give you my grades for the 2003 and 2008 movie Hulks. There are 10 categories, with each category worth 10 points total. There will be comparisons to the original series starring Bill Bixby and Lou Ferrigno. Hulk smash! First category is the Hulk's origin. Both movies failed to use the Hulk's comic book origin. That is, the gamma bomb explosion as part of the Hulk's origin. 2003 Banner jumps in front of a gamma machine to save a friend instead of a gamma explosion, and 2008 Banner is involved unknowingly in some kind of super soldier experiment. We see him sitting in a chair in the opening that I guess is supposed to be a tribute to the series, but the thing is that the series was trying to do the best they could on a TV budget and trying to keep the Hulk in more of a grounded world. If they would have went with a gamma bomb back then, it wouldn't have looked as good, most likely, and wouldn't have fit the grounded feeling of the show that they were trying to go for. Also, the 2008 film seems to infer that the Hulk actually hurt Betty Ross after his first transformation. I don't think that makes the Hulk look very heroic. Sorry Hulks, both of you guys failed on the origin. Let's hope you do better on the next categories. And for the record, the series still weaved a pretty large explosion into the Hulk's first story. With the explosion of the lab, even though it didn't have a part in the creation of the Hulk, the explosion set the series up for relentless pursuit of Banner by McGee and established Banner as being believed to be dead and having to travel the country to avoid being exposed as the creature while he sought a cure. Okay, the number 2 category is General Thunderbolt Ross.
Come within 1,000 yards of my daughter again, I'll put you away for the rest of your natural life.
2003's Thunderbolt Ross was played by Sam Elliott, who was a perfect representation of the comic book version. Elliott was a lot more imposing than the 2008 Ross, I think, and one I felt had a better moral compass than the 2008 version. He was a little bit more protective of his daughter, and he just came across as a little bit more human, while being the dude you do not want to make mad at you. Now, the 2008 Ross was played adequately by William Hurt. The 2008 Ross was a lot less tougher than the 2003 version.
So don't wait to see if he's a fighter. Trank him and bring him back.
After the performance that Sam Elliott gave as Ross, I can't understand the logic in replacing him, really.
I promise you I'm going to get to the bottom of it.
Okay, so in the Battle of the Rosses, I'm going to give 2003 10 points for Sam Elliott's performance, and I'm going to give 2008 Ross 5 points. 2003's Banner, played by Eric Bana, was borderline psychotic. I mean, Bana is a great actor, but his Banner just didn't feel very relatable like Bill Bixby's Banner. This Banner gets a 5 for Eric Bana's acting skills, but no points for the personality and direction they took the character. 2008's Banner, played by Edward Norton, was a big step up. Norton is just as good an actor, and he portrayed Banner with a lot more emotional range. What I mean to say is he expressed emotions that weren't just all dark and angry. But I hate to say it, but again, this Banner is nowhere near as relatable as Bill Bixby's Banner.
This is an emergency. I have to have the police.
I can't do that, sir.
What?
I don't have any way to dial out here.
A woman may be killed.
Sir,
So, could you please connect me to that number?
I'm not equipped to do that, sir. But if you'll just hang up.
Please deposit 25 cents for the first 3 minutes.
I don't have 25 cents.
Norton plays Banner a lot more subdued than Bixby, making him not as fun to watch. Still, I'll give 2008's Banner a 10 for a vast improvement from 2003. Number 4, Betty Ross. Neither the 2003 or 2008 versions of Betty Ross really stick out in my mind. Jennifer Connelly and Liv Tyler are both good actresses as far as that goes. The characters fulfilled their parts as was necessary to move the story along, but nothing they did stuck out in my mind as much as the female characters from the old Hulk series, like Dr. Elena Marks from the pilot episode and Dr. Carolyn Fields from the episode Married.
Marry me.
So I'm going to give both movie versions of Betty Ross 5 points apiece.
Is that all you've got?
The next category is the villains. In 2003, they had the nerve to have Nick Nolte play the villain of the picture as Banner's father, David Banner. Obviously, it's a tribute to the show, but I think they should have just went with the comic book name of Brian Banner, considering he was portrayed as a psychopath.
More powerful. Stop! Stop! What?
Nolte was not boring as Banner's evil father. I have to give him that. But giving him the powers of the absorbing man and the final fight scene that I could barely make out because of the dark picture, it just turned out kind of lame. I think it would have been a lot better just to see him turn into an older version of the Hulk, or just brought in another superpowered villain for the fight and had Nolte's character just be the psychological antagonist of the picture. Now, 2008's Hulk villain, the Abomination, played by Tim Roth, was a lot more fun to watch. His character provided a good threat to the Hulk and made for a great fight scene at the end, which was a whole lot better than the fight scene we got in Hulk 2003. Also in 2008, we saw Samuel Stern's origin as the leader. It's really too bad we didn't get to see him as a leader in a sequel later on. This round, 2008, gets 10 points. 2003, only 5.
Is that all you got?
Next is the action category. 2003 had some really great action scenes. There just wasn't enough of them. And the final fight at the end was too dimly lit to even see what was going on. The Hulk vs. Tank scene in the 2003 film is awesome. I give 2003 5 points for action. Just wasn't enough of it. Contrast that with 2008, which seemed to have a lot more action and fighting going on throughout the movie. So I'll give 2008 Hulk 10 points in this category. 2008 ended with the best fight scene, no doubt about it. Okay, the next category is story and pace. 2003 was a little too slow. While the story was compelling at times, it felt like it was stretched out really slow and just too dark. In contrast, the old TV series may have only had 2 Hulk outs per episode, but there was enough drama, emotion, and tension to keep you interested. Plus, you expect more from a movie that you have to pay to see. 2003's Hulk didn't have enough of the Hulk for the movie. And it's supposed to be, a movie is supposed to be an event of epic proportions. So 2003 gets 5 points. 2008 started out a little slow in the first few minutes, but once it got going, it kept moving along at a decent pace. I'll give it 10 points for story and pace, even though the story itself was a little on the standard side. Nothing bad, but nothing super great either. The next category is location and settings. 2003's locations were very cinematic, I thought. I'll give the edge to that movie in this category, but only a slight edge. I'm still going to give the 2008 film a 10. I wasn't that crazy with the first setting. The foreign country seemed more like it was in tune with a spy movie than a Hulk film, but overall, I think both those movies did good in this category. Okay, here's the big one. Which Hulk was better? I actually think 2003's Hulk was a little better with the CGI and, with his movements and everything, but they screwed it up with the way they made him grow bigger when he gets angry instead of just stronger. 2008's Hulk has more definition and has the rage ding down pretty good. I'll go ahead and give them both a 10 on this one, but I don't think either one is quite as impressive as Lou Ferrigno's Hulk from the TV show. The CGI used was probably not as good as the CGI used later in the Avengers for the Hulk. I keep hoping that they'll try to go back to using a big bodybuilder for the Hulk and maybe use CGI more sparingly just to fill in the gaps where necessary. It's just when I'm watching, I can't help but thinking that there's nothing there but thin air sometimes. I mean, just imagine doing any other superhero like that. Would you be as excited to see a CGI Spider-Man or Superman the entire movie? I would hope they would get somebody that looks like Lou too. Just as much as possible. Now here's the final category, rewatchability. Which movie am I more likely to want to go back to watch again sooner? Well, the 2003 Hulk, I'm going to have to give it a 5. It has some great moments, but there's just too much drag or slowness or whatever in the middle. It just goes on and on and on. So yeah, I'll give it a 5. Then the 2008 Hulk, I'm going to give it a 10 because it's faster paced. There's just a lot more action scenes and a lot more things going on in that movie. So it's easier to watch again and again. So overall, 2003 Hulk gets a failing grade of 60. Hulk 2008 gets 80. Plus 5 bonus points for Lou Ferrigno saying Hulk smash for a total of 85.
Hulk! Smash!
For comparison's sake, I considered the TV show an A. And that's with deducting any points for the limitations of the show's effects and budget for the day and time that it came out in. It just had a lot of heart and soul, and it is almost as much fun, if not more so, to watch today than it was when it originally aired. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Before you go, I'd like to mention my latest Caveman Comics Book 5 and my Caveman Comics compilation book of all 5 Caveman Comics books. It's a great deal. I greatly appreciate your support. Maybe after you read it, give it a review at Amazon. That would be awesome. Please leave a comment, hit the like, subscribe, and hit the bell for lots more pop culture stuff. I mostly talk about classic TV with an emphasis on superheroes, and every once in a while I throw in a cartoon featuring my own original characters. Well, thanks and have a great day.
Hoo-yah!